Hey there, I'm Spike, and let's get right into the bullshit.
I'm Kel. I don't know what you're talking about, Spike.
I'm Amanda. I don't have it in me to bring that energy today.
Hi, everybody. Hello, how are you doing? What a fucking day. What a fucking week. What a fucking world. It's nice to talk to you. It's nice to see you again. And I'm just in a good fucking mood. I'm just in a
Spike,
perpetual good fucking mood. I don't know what it
Spike,
is. Just is.
Spike,
Yes.
congrats on your 100-day streak in Duolingo.
Oh, yes, thank you. I'm so proud of that. I did that. I did the thing. Everybody, I am on Duolingo. It was a New Year's resolution for me. It's like I don't know why it is. It's just a thing that came up for me. I was like, I don't want to fucking die monolingual, dude. Like I don't want to be that person. And so I decided to fulfill my pathetic weeb fantasies and learn at least sort of like third grader level Japanese is my desire, like to at least get to the point where I could express myself in basic ways if necessity demanded it. And I have just finished 100 days straight of doing stuff in Duolingo, and I am at that point where I can say hello, what my name is. I can ask where things are. I can request things at restaurants. I can say, yes, I am. No, I'm not. I'm going here. I will not go here. I want this. I don't want this. It's exciting times to be me. Have little baby Japanese abilities.
Spike,
Kel,
Amerikajin desu ka?
hi. Hi. America's seen this.
Yeah.
Actually,
Okay.
I'm eating
watashi,
Funyuns. That's my contribution.
I
watashi, watashi
I've
wa Chicago shushin desu.
I've never had a knockoff Funyun that was good.
um I have a Duolingo story.
Uh-huh.
I've also been doing Japanese Duolingo.
Nerd, nerd, fucking nerd,
But
fucking weeb
but
nerd.
I was looking at what other languages they have, to mix it up a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And maybe I'd like to learn an language that doesn't have a completely new alphabet as well. Um,
Three, actually. Three new albums.
yeah, three new alphabets.
Yeah.
So
So,
I also put on an Irish course.
oh dear.
Um, and no, this is remember that comment going around on Twitter that English is five languages in a trench coat?
Pretending to be one language, yep. Hey
Yeah.
Jay Brooks, hey Lily, hey RJ Knapp, hey Alan Lord, hi.
In the first Irish lesson, is the same in both.
Mm-hmm.
That was just like, oh, so that's where English stole it from. Got it.
Yep. Yeah, Japanese, I mean, I think I've talked about this briefly on here before too. Japanese is a fucking it's a clusterfuck. And that's what happens when you go to mainland China and look at their writing system and go neat and then just steal it and then try to force it to accommodate your own language. And it's rough. It's rough and there's no way out but through. You have to memorize two phonetic alphabets and you also have to memorize if you want like baseline fucking competence in Japanese. We're talking like maybe 1,000, maybe 2,000 kanji. Just you have to know them on site. And I am nowhere near that. I can recognize basic things. I'm at that point now where I think it's something a lot of people who are trying to teach themselves Japanese go through, where they start reading untranslated manga and they go back and they look at anime that they watched in the past. And the more
I'm sorry,
urban
was the
set,
sound of me eating really obvious? Someone
no.
said
I
misophonia, and
can't
I was
hear.
like, well, no, y'all wouldn't. Y'all don't get my direct mic
Oh,
feed.
Oh, I didn't hear anything for what it's worth.
Well, you never do on Discord. Discord didn't
Okay.
even pick up my sewing machine, and it was like right next to my microphone.
Hmm.
Discord is magic about like removing things that aren't voices.
Yeah. But
So this is more of a chat concern because they get my raw audio.
okay. But yeah, I'm going back and looking at anime and I'm looking at like signs in the background. So if it's like an urban environment, I like those best because they have the most signage. And I just go back
mhm.
and read. I'm like, oh, that's a karaoke bar because it says karaoke right there. Oh my god, I can read. You know, and it's like, oh, that place is.
Okay, I
I
will
know what this is.
adjust my eating.
Uh-oh, it is audible. Uh-oh.
Yes, that's why I said I'd adjust my eating.
Oh no. Oh, Amanda, very unprofessional.
Um, but
But yeah. Japanese is fun. Once you get over like the initial hump, because a lot of people recoil. And it's like, what the fuck? 3 different alphabets? And then there's all the little tiny things you have to get into too. Like, for example, when you're counting animate versus inanimate objects, you have to use different words. If you're counting food versus non-food, you have to use different words. When you say 2 people and 2 chairs, you have to like, are there 2 people in the room? Are there 2 chairs in the room? There are 2 different things. And when you say that is a dog versus that is a chair, different different terminology.
I
And
started learning Spanish on Duolingo, or actually more like relearning,
mhm.
because it was rewarding me. Like, you did really well. It's like, that's because I already know this shit, buddy. Um,
Yeah.
so, but I kind of after C2E2 I got super busy and tired and fell off,
Yeah.
and stuff just kept happening. And now every time it reminds me, like, hey, you haven't done a lesson. I'm like, fuck you. That's gonna be another day. I postpone my lessons, I guess.
Yeah.
Don't badger me, buddy.
Yeah.
It doesn't. That shit don't work on me.
you
Yeah.
can't control me, you stupid owl.
I'm like an animal. I'm not like reward motivated with like little trinkets and badges. I'm motivated by food.
Yeah. It's
Um,
If Duolingo gave me food whenever I took a lesson, I would know 5 languages.
Yeah, I'm waiting to get to the stories because I've yet to unlock any stories in Japanese, and I'm looking forward to those because I love
what lesson are you on?
shit. Let me check.
Seeing a clown PNG open their mouth and hearing a crunch is great.
see.
Okay, there's at least that added benefit.
Okay, so like I said before, I am on Japanese, and I'm only on section 2 right now. I do a lot of
But
repetition.
unit what?
Unit. Shoot, hold on. Just closed it. I'm on unit 1 of section 2.
Okay, I'm on Union 7 of Section 1, so I'm not that far behind you.
No, no. I like to pause a lot and do like a lot of my time on Duolingo is spent doing reviews and exercises. So I'm
Oh.
trying to commit stuff to my brain. Like right now, what I'm trying to commit to my brain is the endless supply of Japanese terminology describing younger brother, younger sister, older sister, multiple siblings,
Oni-san.
multiple sisters, multiple brothers, and your mother, your father, my mother.
What about my
father.
mother?
Well, your mother, if I'm talking about her, is Okasan. But if I'm talking about my own mother, it's Chichi. No, it's Haha. And my own father is Chichi. Whereas if I'm talking about your father, it's Otosan.
No, it's asshole.
Okay.
But I redo the lessons a whole bunch.
Yeah, it's a good idea to do
uh,
that. And you got to say it out
because-
loud.
Because I'm a competitive asshole and I need to be number 1 on the league.
I absolutely understand
So-
being a competitive asshole. I won the diamond tournament last week.
See,
Week after before
one
last.
of my problems is like when I'm reading it, like the level of Spanish I know is I can read it when the words are in front of me. I'm like, oh, I know what this means. But when I'm sitting there and I have to like make the sentences in my head, it just falls apart. That's my big hurdle to get over. Like, if you
Yeah.
sit me down and have me like write like a paragraph in Spanish, I could probably pull it off. Now, if you say read a paragraph in Spanish, oh yeah, I can very easily do that. I might have to refer to it for a few words, but like I can do. But there's just something about putting the sentence together in my head without words to look at. I'm just not there yet, so I'm probably going to redo my lessons over and over.
It would help. It would totally.
I keep forgetting to put in wa or
Yeah, or ga.
ga or whatever, like the little vowels that happen in between words
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, like ofuro des. Like furo is bathtub, but for some reason when you're talking about it in certain circumstances, but not all circumstances, it's ofuro. And it's like, okay. Like, yeah. it's just bizarre. But one of the things that's helped is since I'm learning kanji simultaneously with wanikani, which is like a different thing. It's a thing in a browser window. When I'm learning that with wanikani, I recognize dai, which is the kanji for machine. And when I was trying to teach myself the word for kitchen, which is daidokoro, I was like, oh, that's a kanji for kitchen, daidokoro. And that means, that's where you keep all the big machines that you cook with, like the Cuisinart and, and the KitchenAid. So daidokoro, yeah, okay. And there was something else too. God, yeah, body pillow, body pillows. The term for body pillows is just big pillow.
That's what they call me.
Big pillow, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Daima pillow.
it's my rap name.
Anyway, enough with being weebs.
Yeah.
Never. I watched Prince. I've been rewatching Princess Tutu this week.
So it's just yeah,
Oh,
die is just big.
also,
Oh.
so brief tangent about Irish. I found out the name Colleen is just a bastardized version of the Irish word for girl.
That's
Yeah.
terrible.
I mean, that's most names. Yeah.
Makes
Yeah,
me
there's a lot of stuff like that. But yeah, like the Irish word for girl is like Colleen. And I was like, oh.
That's terrible. Yeah. There was actually a Gene Yang novel. For folks who don't know, Gene Yang is a cartoonist of some renown. He was probably best known for American Born Chinese. But he did another series that was about the Boxer Rebellion and the spread of Christianity in China, which is like a double graphic novel. And one of them was from the perception of a Chinese local, and one of them was from the perception of like someone who had been wronged by the colonizer government and was joining the Yellow Headbands, I believe the group is called. And
Yeah.
one of my favorite aspects of it is how well he laid out like why would the Christian missionaries in China, like why would what they have to say appeal to like the average Chinese person. And the thing that this book, this volume of the paired graphic novels focused on is it was a girl who was born into a family after a bunch of other daughters were born, and as a result, because of the intense misogynistic bias of Chinese culture at the time, they didn't even bother naming her. Like her name in Chinese was literally something like Five Girl, like because she was the fifth daughter, and everyone
No,
treated her,
four girl,
Four
because
girl.
she's unlucky because she's also the number 4,
which is
which
sounds
is
like death. Yeah,
death. Yeah.
yeah. So they called her
Um,
Four Girl because she was a girl and she was the fourth, and they just like didn't fucking want her, and they made it like really clear they weren't interested in having her around. And when she met up with like the Christian missionaries, she got a name for like the first time, not just like, hey, Four Girl, go do the dishes. Hey, Four Girl, go take out the trash. She got an actual name. And that was like a
well,
big part of the appeal to her.
it's interesting because like there are a lot of
I can see
cultures
I
where
can
you
see exactly where the lag is on the chat.
Yeah.
it's interesting because there are a lot of cultures where some names are really just numbering your kids.
Yep.
I took Latin in high school because my mom thought it would help me spell better. Turns out learning Latin is not a cure for dyslexia.
Who knew?
Who would have
Yeah.
thought?
Yeah, who could have thought?
Yeah.
But like the
I love the idea that like a complete.
Latin.
I love the idea that like what'll help you spell things in English? Learning a different language.
It's like because theoretically, you would learn the root word.
Yeah, but that still wouldn't help at all. Like that.
Yeah, that's still no. Anyway, so it did teach me that the word defenestrate means to throw something out the window. The Latin textbook is like a story that explains some Roman culture stuff, and one of the thing is like, oh yeah, Romans named all their kids 1, 2, 3, 4, like whatever order they were born in. And then they got a nickname when they were older, and so Julius Caesar was not born Julius Caesar. He was whatever that was, like Julius was a nickname that he got later on.
Yeah,
because the
Augustus-
kids' names were like Sextus, and they literally were named like 1, 2, 3, 4, and Sex is 6, so he was like the 6th born kid in his family.
Yeah, this makes me think about how back in the day, like a name was something that you had as a kid, and then when you were adult, you had an adult name. Like you didn't actually
Yeah.
have this name that you carried throughout your entire life. And as a small child, I remember I read a story, and it was fiction, but it was very heavily rooted in actual tradition about like an indigenous horse culture tribe in North America. I forget the exact tribe, but the whole idea was here is a little 15-year-old boy, and he was basically scheduled to go out the next day to participate in his first group buffalo hump with the rest of the adult males. And while everyone was just kind of chilling out in camp that night, his dad gets up and just announces to the entire tribe, by the way, my son is no longer to be known by his birth name. From now on, you will all call my son Lazy Dog. And this was apparently a thing that was done to encourage his son to go out and perform exceptionally tomorrow at the buffalo hump, to like enact a great act of bravery or do something really cool and worthwhile, so that no one would actually call him Lazy Dog. He would get like a cool name, something that he
Yeah.
could be proud of. And that was the father's way of motivating his son. Like, you better be fucking on the ball tomorrow. And I thought that was interesting.
But the other thing was that they name all the girls, they just feminize the dad's name, and all the
Yeah.
girls get their dad's name, but with an A at the end to make it
Yeah.
feminine.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely a thing.
Sorry, I muted. I was choking.
I'm sorry to hear that. Hi, Badger. Hi, Joe. Hi, everyone. Hi, Bones. What's up? Hi, everybody. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't really 100% understand my mom's logic of learning Latin will help you spell better, but I got some fun stories out of it because that class was a joke.
Yeah.
Most of the conversational, like if I can say Spanish, if it's Spanish I can speak. I learned it working in a kitchen, in different kitchens for 9 years, and so unfortunately, almost all of my language is food related.
Yeah.
Like mantequilla, por favor, and shit like that. Mas pan, etc.
It was kind of like because Latin is a dead language, the teacher was like, I'm just gonna teach you jokes and dumb shit like that because honestly, you're never gonna use it other than like defenestrate. That will make you remember that fenestra is window and just stuff like that. So like one of the puns that their teacher taught us was semper ubi sub ubi is always wear underwear.
Mm-hmm. And there is something goofy, like there's something where people like to translate it as "don't let the bastards grind you down," but that is not what it means. But it just sounds that way. I forget what exactly is that.
My teacher was not that cool.
Oh, but yeah, I'm a huge fan of how Japanese is helping me kind of like understand various things now, because a big part of why I'm learning it is I want to go to Japan one day, obviously, but like every nerd. But another big part of it is
put me in your suitcase.
There is this whole level of in jokes in any language, that kind of you need to understand the language on a deeper level to understand. And for years and years, I would always hear these stories about untranslatable jokes. Like, it's funny if you speak Japanese, but if you don't speak Japanese, it's literally not even worth trying to explain to you. And that is my end game. I'm very interested in learning all of the Japanese jokes. Like, one of the things that Matt and I recently noticed is that there's a game called Katamari Damacy, and I have become convinced, because my husband pointed it out, that part of the reason it's called that is the two kanji are so similar. So it's probably some kind of visual joke if you know Japanese. Everybody feel free to look up.
There's a manga I'm editing for 7 Seas, where the title is a pun, but only there are 2 puns in the title, but only one works in English. The English title is My Dear Friend Nakoten. And basically it's like my dear friend sounds like the name Nakoten. So it's I forget how you actually say it in Japanese, but like it was explained to me that like it's a shame that we could only get half of the pun in there.
Mm. Yeah.
Because it's about a girl who is also a deer,
And for folks who are
but not really.
wondering, katamari means clump, like a ball, like a swarm, and damasi means spirit. So katamari damasi means clump spirit. They chose not to translate katamari in the game, but and I think I know why. They don't want you just calling them clumps. Katamari sounds more elegant. Ah, yes, illegitimate non carborundum. Yeah, done with the bastard. Yeah, that's how it sounds. And look, you guys beat me to it. Spirit Clump, Jay Brooks. Exactly. Being in Japan will exceed your expectations, Spike. Guaranteed. I think about going back every day. Yeah, my big dream, and this is a dream that has only felt really possible in the last month or so for reasons that are obvious if you pay attention. Is to go to Japan sometime in the future, maybe 2024 would be a good time for a month and just
Ew, a whole
Airbnb
ass month?
a whole last month.
Oh boy.
Airbnb a apartment so we have access to like, pots, pans, a stove, that kind of thing. And stay there a month and just do as much as we humanly can. Like take the Shinkansen down to the place where the deer bow to you, go up to Hokkaido if we can make it, go see the monkeys in the hot springs, maybe be there for the cherry blossoms. Like I just want to like really do Japan super hard in a way that makes up for the fact I feel like I'm behind schedule. And I say that with air quotes because I would have loved to go to Japan in my 20s, but on a rational level, I understand that if I'd done that, I would not be able to do it the way I am currently
God,
capable of doing it.
we talk
You know
about
what I mean?
travel so much.
Yeah.
Bones and I are planning to go in October.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you've been talking about that, haven't you?
Yeah, or I'm gonna go to the Fox park.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
the deer park, but it's foxes.
Yeah, and they got a version of that for cats too. They got all those kind of parks.
And they have a rabbit one. Foxes are so fat.
Well, yeah, they probably got people feeding them all day.
Yeah, no, I saw pictures. They're so fat and fluffy. Can't wait.
Yeah, yeah. I believe that, by the way.
Well, looking at pictures, it was like, oh, look at how flat and fluffy they are. And then I found an article that's like, it's horrible and they abuse the foxes. And I was like, don't ruin my dreams.
Yeah.
Because Japan does not have as strict animal safety care shit. So all those parks are kind of the equivalent of Tiger King's park.
Yeah, but fat
Except
in Japanese
they're not
is
tigers that can eat you.
futoi. Futoi is fat in Japanese. So that's where I am now. I'm at the point where you know how you say that in Japanese. So kitsune futoi, I guess.
See those fat little guys.
Yeah, I wouldn't. My big things are I want to go to, like, I know the new hotness these days is to go to the Super Mario theme park. Like it seems like a lot of people are going there.
There's a new Godzilla theme park that Deboki told me about that a lot of people are going to.
Yeah, I can see going to that, but in my heart, the only one I'm like super interested in going to is the full-size Gundam, which like performs air quotes like twice a day, where it like comes out of the setup that holds it up so the pilots can get in, and it like walks out and it does a takeoff maneuver. I want to go see the Gundam do that, and I want to go to Harajuku, like every fucking worthless nerd. I want to go to Harajuku, and I want to go to Hokkaido, and I want to like just do a fucking million things. I just want to do a million. Oh, also I want to eat fugu. And Amanda, you were talking about how so much of your knowledge is food related. Yeah, that's fucking me too. That's me too. Because I really
specifically like food preparation related, not necessarily eating food.
No, okay. Well, for me, it's like I know a lot of Japanese words for various food items, like ika and taco and shit like that, because specifically, all the different terms for the various parts of the tuna. And
like I can basically like ask the kitchen. I can ask like people how to like blacken something.
Yeah.
But I don't
But
know like
yeah.
the names of any food. It's more just I know how to talk about how to make food.
Oh God, Jay Brooks is suggesting if you truly want to test yourself, read Cypher Academy. God, no, I am not in that place. I am literally at that point now where I look on Amazon. I'm like, I should get those flashcards so I can sit there and do flashcards like I'm a second grader.
Now, you might have got that confused with one me saying my language knowledge is based on working in a restaurant and also on food motivated.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
combine those two
Um,
somehow, I'm sure.
The Ghibli theme
I
park. If I might do theme parks, but I'll be honest. Whenever I visit foreign countries, theme parks in general are pretty low on my list. I kind of favor, in general. Again, I can't stop fucking talking about this, but hey, let's have like a play along. It'll be fun, everyone.
No.
Yes, go to a
I
website called atlasobscura.com.
We've done this before.
Yes, I know, but we haven't done it for Tokyo, Japan. So if you stick in Tokyo, Japan, it'll show you all kinds of cool shit to do and stuff that, like, is not going to come up on guided tours or stuff that's like standard issue, like, oh, go visit Tokyo Tower. Like, okay, yes, maybe I will, but while I'm there, there's other things I'd rather do. Like maybe I want to go to Akihabara Electric Town. Maybe I want to go to that super crazy watercolor shop where like every little tube of pigment is like $300. Maybe I want to do that.
Deb Oki was telling me about a theater that's like all ladies
Oh yeah,
performance theater.
yeah.
I'm looking at.
It's very interesting. It's got its basis in really old Japanese theater. I forget what you're talking about, but I absolutely know what it is. I forget what it's called, but I know what you're talking
Something
about.
review
This
or
isn't
whatever?
a traditional one. This is a more modern
Yeah.
one.
I know. I've seen performances by them. I saw a performance where all the women were dressed up as JFK, RFK, and Martin Luther King and singing in English. And I was like, what is happening? It was very weird to see a Japanese woman dressed as Martin Luther King and singing in good but not great English, "We want freedom." It was it's very interesting. You okay over there?
Yeah, allergies.
Yeah. I also wouldn't mind go seeing Hachiko. Hachiko is the little dog that
Yeah.
waited outside the subway station for his master who had a heart attack and died at work for years. They have him mummified somewhere and I'd like to go see him. But
Travel sounds neat.
Oh, Takarazuka Review. That is what it is called. Thank you, Lily. Yeah, I'd like to go to Korea too. And part of me wants to figure out a way to go to Japan and Korea and call it a business expense. I haven't figured out how I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do that. Korea would be easier because I now have literal multiple creators in Korea. And if it comes up, I'd be like, oh, yes, I went to visit with Ryan Estrada and also Amy Rose. And Young Suk, obviously, I had to talk to one of my best-selling, most prominent authors, of course. And like, I'll see them once and then spend all the rest of my time like wandering Korea and taking photographs. For a minute there, I thought we weren't connected.
No, this is a conversation I can't really contribute to.
Really? You don't want to go anywhere?
No, I can't go anywhere.
Oh, okay.
It's just this all sounds nice. It's just a subject I can't even think about. So it's like I've never given it much thought.
Well, for what it's worth, you can also stick Chicago into Atlas Obscura, and it'll show you a lot of.
I know we did it before.
Yeah.
I'm not a sightseer.
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of the things I'm most interested in are like thrift shops and like craft shows and stuff.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, shit. Yeah, so in 2024, I'm gonna have to go to the licensing show in Las Vegas.
Take me with you.
Honestly, fucking maybe. I don't even know because, like, okay, for folks who don't know, I think I've mentioned it on the show before, but for everyone who
Wow, I
didn't
really
hear,
put some squeak on that line.
There is a show called the Licensing Expo. It is in Las Vegas every single year. And what the Licensing Expo is just a whole bunch of people who own properties that are in demand go there and they basically sit in a chair and they go, okay, convince me. And people who print t-shirts and print boxer shorts and make golf bags and make plush toys or what have you line up and they try and broker deals with you. That is what the Licensing Expo is. And I strongly urge you to go on YouTube and search Licensing Expo 2022. You will see the kind of weird shit that goes down there. This sounds bizarre, but it feels like a much higher budget San Diego Comic-Con. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, San Diego Comic-Con is already pretty fucking high budget. Yeah, but Licensing Expo is on kind of a different level.
Well, I mean, you also go there for a completely different reason.
Exactly. Although there are a lot of comics people there.
Yeah, but again, just because they're there, that doesn't. They are not there to sell you a product or.
Yeah.
It's all these owners of different IPs with their little setups. Basically, people coming to them like, I have an idea for you to give me a license to use your stuff.
Yeah.
So it's some people, it's like, I don't know, like we made a baby stroller and we want to put Garfield on it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's more complicated that, but you know what I mean? You'll have people like with these weird ideas like, but we need characters and recognizable IPs attached to it. So it's like, yeah. It's weird. Honestly, that's why I'm super interested to go, because like, one, it's wild to see the kind of brands that actually have a presence. Like you would not expect some of the brands that are set up there. And two, you get to see, I want to go and quietly people watch, because there are some people with bad ideas and I want to.
For sure.
I want to be a fly on, I just want to listen. I just want to be there.
Yeah, like the thing that scares me most is going there and realizing slowly that I have no fucking place there. You know? Like that's what stopped me from even trying before.
I think to be fair, that sounds like we'd be going with that. I say we. It sounds like you'd be going with that already. You already know that.
Yeah.
I doubt it'd be a slow revelation, because like as we talk about it, we kind of are. There's already a sense of we don't need to go. There's no reason for us to go. It would just be fun and kind of interesting.
Well, the way I'm looking at it is I do have one legitimate thing that I will be taking there. I will see what I can see, and then I'll have just a fucking week in Vegas. And when I think of a week in Vegas, the stuff I'm thinking of is the absolutely ridiculous buffet scene they have in Vegas. Like, I know that sounds bizarre, but seriously, like, Vegas hotel buffets, you can pay like $15, $20 to get in, and they serve you the most ridiculous, insane food you'll ever eat. And I encourage everyone here, if you're on YouTube, just, you know, Las Vegas best buffets, and you will see people eating the most insane, ridiculous, awesome looking food for like $20. Because keep in mind, these are all attached to casinos, so they don't give a fuck. You know, they're already making money. That's not where they make money.
Just want you to not leave the casino area.
Exactly, and it's become this like competitive thing. So these are buffets, yes, but they're like buffets run by like Wolfgang Puck and shit. They're really high quality because they want you to come and stay in the hotel and not leave the hotel and get back in front
of the slot
machine.
Do they get mad at you if you don't gamble?
No.
Oh.
Because there's enough people there.
Yeah.
That like, if one person doesn't gamble, who cares?
Yeah.
Because this other guy's about to lose his house.
Pretty much. Like the house always wins. So if there are 100 people in the buffet and like 20 of them don't fucking 20 of them don't gamble.
Because like I mean that would be like I have zero gambling urges, so
yeah,
that'd be
I don't want to gamble.
That'd be a pretty easy what's it called? Temptation for me to avoid.
Yeah, I would love to go to Vegas to eat at the buffets, and I would love to go to Vegas because that is where Meow Wolf has an installation, and that is also very much on my to-do list. I have to go to see the Meow Wolf installation.
What did you not read the sign?
What sign?
Leave your Glorbos and Meow Meows at the door.
I didn't know that was Meow Wolf related.
I don't know what Meow Wolf is, but it has meow in it.
Oh, okay. Meow Wolf is hard to describe. They're kind of this group of artists and experience devisers is the best way to put it.
I hate that description.
I know, but I don't know any other way to put it. Like, Meow Wolf, they describe themselves as creators of immersive art experiences, which probably makes you want to vomit. But the
Yeah, a
thing
little
is,
bit.
it's true and it's amazing, and I super fucking want to go. And in Las Vegas, they have an area where they put these things on called Area 15. And right now, Area 15 has a display, a permanent exhibition called Omega Mart. And the whole
Oh yeah,
idea of
we've talked about that in the show.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And Kelly Turnbull went, and I was like overcome with insane jealousy. I really want to go to Omega Mart. I really want to buy a can of soda from Omega Mart that has on it, "Wake up, please."
Yeah.
I
And
really want. It's so hard to describe. Like everyone, just go on YouTube and search Omega Mart commercials, and you'll see. And I just really want to go to the Meow Wolf Omega Mart in Las Vegas.
okay, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
We definitely talked about that before.
they are a very unusual sort of
Yeah.
thing, and I think they kind of might even be like there can only be one. You know, it's like there can only be one Meow Wolf, but it's super
Instagram
fucking cool.
Instagram is it gave me this ad for some kind of self-leveling acrylic nail filler or whatever, and it's the
Uh-huh.
worst acrylic nail application I've ever seen. This is a bad
Well,
ad. This is a
I'll
bad
admit,
ad, Instagram.
I don't know much about acrylic nails. I'll admit.
Um, I will not derail the conversation. Just
I
just know that this
I
is an extremely bad ad.
Oh, okay.
I briefly had acrylic nails because my mom thought if there was plastic over my nails, I would stop biting them.
Uh-huh.
No, if you
Um,
bite them right off, right, just the right angle, you can pop them off.
Huh.
You can also break them in half.
Yeah, you
if
can.
bite them at the right angle, which is what I found out.
See, I used to get them because I liked them,
Mhm.
and but I also like to chew my nails, and I was and they are actually not great to chew. So the temptation to chew them did dissipate. However, while frustrated and trying to chew them, I realized if you bite them at just the right angle, you can kind of like break the seal and pop them right off. And I was like, oh, I have this
Yeah.
knowledge now. And so then I would have them and like, no, don't do it, Amanda. Don't. But it's like, but it's so easy.
You spent $40 on them, Amanda. Don't.
It's like, don't do it. It's
Yeah.
like, but what if?
Yeah.
And then pop. There they go.
Yeah, all I know about like nails these days is for a while there I was watching a lot of nail YouTube, like falsies, and
Yeah.
they would
Well, no,
but holy
falsies.
yeah, like the extended acrylic gel nails, and holy shit, they are unbelievable art forms. People
Oh,
go
yeah.
absolutely buck
Oh,
wild
yeah.
with them. There was this one woman, and she had this channel where it's like you never saw her face or heard her voice whatsoever. And all she would show you is like the beginning of, she had this formula, beginning of the channel, she'd show you her old manicure, which by that point was merely a week old, so it still looked great. And the first 5 minutes were her popping off the nails, just like you talk about, Amanda, just like at the right exact angle, and they just go right off the
Yep.
nail bed. And then she would design her nails for the week. And we're talking, they had fucking inclusions and glitter. They had charms hanging off them from jump rings. They had all kinds of, like, they had comedy and tragedy masks that were like tiny and miniature and made of pewter, like on the cuticle. And then they had plastic bows on the tips. It was fucking
Have you seen the
wild.
ones that where people like put pimples in them that you can pop?
Oh, that's so fucking gross.
It's disgusting, yes, but
That's terrible. I saw one that looked like cigarette butts, which I was like, that's a choice.
yeah. I still want. Now I'm staring at my nails quietly, going, "That could be me again." I'm like,
It could
"No, I know what you're gonna fucking do.
You're gonna pop them off.
I'm
10
gonna
minutes
pop them
after you-
off." It's like, but
Yeah.
that could be me.
And all I can think of now, though, is I saw in passing, I guess the algorithm noticed what I was watching. And I saw in passing this ad that was like, hey, by the way, a lot of people are getting these gel nails that harden under UV light now.
Oh,
If
yeah,
you're-
those have been around for a while.
Yeah, but if you're doing that weekly, maybe don't, because UV light is a is a fucking teratogen, and you might develop some kind of melanoma on your fingers. Like, oh right,
That's actually a less likely place for you to develop it.
yeah, but if you are like literally bathing it in UV light for several minutes twice a week,
It's not that strong.
I'm just saying what I read. I didn't
I'm-
do the studies, but yeah,
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
Speaking of stuff that gives you cancer,
No.
They're changing the recipe of Peeps.
Really?
Or lawmakers
Oh, are they
trying
not
to
going to taste
force-
like shit anymore?
Yeah, seriously, they're awful.
It's
hate
basically it's like that
Peeps.
red food dye that is used in a lot of candy and is outlawed in Europe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once I think it's California, it might be a different state, is trying to ban it.
And where
Which
California goes.
basically means the candy company would probably just have to change it for all of America rather than make special California like.
Yeah,
Yes.
where goes California? So
And
goes
turn it
Houston.
into, all you gotta do is turn it into like a marketing thing. Like, look, they're better
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, the thing about California, which is kind of fascinating.
Throw out your old Peeps you have in the basement.
Yeah. But the thing about California, which is kind of, I didn't know this until I watched a video about it like a week ago, I think. But the thing about California is we all know about, over here is the Eastern United States, whatever. And then way on the other West Coast was California.
What happened to it?
For a very long time, you could not like get in a stagecoach or a wagon or a train and just go to California. You just couldn't. What you had to do was load everything onto a boat, sail down to where the Panama Canal would one day be, overland it to the other side, and then get on another boat and go up to California. And that was literally the fastest way to get to California. And it took about 30 days. And for years, like 5 or 6 years, this is how California dealt with itself and as a part of the United States. It functioned basically as its own independent country. And it's wild how stuff like that ripples through time, because now California still in a lot of ways functions independently of a lot of the rest of the United States. It passes these laws.
Texas just bitterly gritting its teeth like, wish that was me.
Basically, like the things that the part of the reason there is right now a massive push towards automakers abandoning gas-powered vehicles in North America and going all in on electric is California's like, every car in California has to be electric by 2035, no exceptions. You cannot sell gas cars anymore. And California's
Is that going to apply to used cars?
I doubt it, but California's economy is so fucking huge that if it were its own country, it would be like the 10th largest economy on earth. And that's just California, which is why
and it's also because LA has such horrible public transit. Like
Matt's calling you out, Spike.
There's a lot of people that are going to be buying electric cars simply because of how garbage like public transit is in Southern California. Like,
although LA is getting the Olympics and they've been trying to build subways for them, because you can't just have cars when you're hosting the Olympics.
Yeah. They have some subways now. It's still like, it's not great.
Also, there's like the thing about California, which is kind of fascinating too, is okay, there is this fantasy among certain members of the population who shall remain nameless that they are somehow paying for California.
Oh, my dad.
Yeah, and it's truly bizarre, because if what I watched was correct, for every $1 in taxes California pays, it gets 97 cents in federal funding, which is kind of how it would have to be, because its economy is so fucking huge, because it's just such a massively populated and massively taxed state. But on top of that, despite the fact that that's how it goes, they have less say in the decisions that are made on a federal level than like people in Wyoming, because of the uneven weight given to the disproportionate weight given to underpopulated states. And that's why California is very grumbly when it gets on the federal level, and that's why it's so willing to just like flip everybody off and do their own thing. So when Gavin Newsom is all like, fuck you, we're going to stock, RU-486 for 2 years and we're going to distribute it, and I'd love to see you come over here and try and fucking stop me, that's just him being Californian. I'm just killing conversation tonight.
Oh, it's fine. It just so happens these are conversations that I am not
Yeah.
But
I don't
but
have input. I'm interested in them. I like hearing them, but it's just I don't have input,
yeah, and
unfortunately.
but I will never move to
Uh,
California. No offense, y'all are insane over there. Like the fucking housing prices get for fucking real. Absolutely not.
It's just the weather for me.
It is hot, is it?
uh,
Yeah, you live in a desert. You live in no, fuck
It
off.
was 82 today, and I'm angry. You specifically, Spike. I'm taking this out on you. I was told I wouldn't have to deal with this.
Oh god. Sorry for Chicago. Sorry. But
82
yeah, I can't.
degrees.
It's like I can't. Oh, okay. It's like, oh, this has been on my mind a little lately because I have no personal thing against California. And when I was in my early 20s, I was very sort of like trying to figure out where I was going to set up and spend my life. And I am happy with the choice I've made with Chicago. Like, we didn't just elect a socialist as mayor, but he's definitely literally the most progressive mayor of any large city in
I
the United
voted for
States.
him.
Me
I got to
too.
vote.
Whee!
Hooray.
Yeah, I voted for him too. And
Bones just
we-
says in quotes, sorry for
sorry,
Chicago.
yeah, it's like I love living
It's
here.
all your fault.
I love the vibe of living here. I love when it's warm that there are things to do. And
I don't want it to get warm.
it's just nice
No
here.
warm.
But like California is like first of all, if I ever moved to California for whatever reason, I would just literally never be a homeowner. That's just it. That's just fucking it, you know. And I don't want to rent for the rest of my life. I know some people are cool with that, but that's not.
I
Who
mean, I'm
wanna
not
be.
cool with it. It's just what are the
Well,
options?
Yeah,
What am
yeah.
I gonna
Spike-
do?
Mhm.
Spike, I was looking at the price of condos in various cities,
Uh-huh.
and all of America is fucked.
Mhm.
Home price wise, just FYI, they're everywhere's fucked.
I'm
Like,
gonna go look at realtor.com.
No.
Yes, I'm going to. I'm gonna look at realtor.com and I'm going to see what were you looking at? 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms
1-bedroom condo.
with 1 bath.
Spike,
And-
I'm sorry for the route the conversation has taken. Then seconds later, I'm gonna go to look at this realty website.
No, I'm just going to see what's up. Like, what can you get for? Wow, there are no You know what? Here, 1 bedrooms. There we go. Chicago. Show me your 1 bedrooms. Okay, and the first thing you show me is a $30 million mansion. Are you okay, Realtor.com? Do you need a minute?
You know they get a cut, right?
Yeah,
Of course, they're
absolutely.
not going to show you the cheap one first.
But it's like it's literally. I asked for 1 bed, 1 bath, and they show me a 6-bedroom mansion.
Well, realtor can be weird because sometimes you're asking the minimum, so
Oh.
sometimes you gotta be careful what you're searching. I learned that.
No, I always put in maximum price 500K. Don't show
Mhm.
me anything more expensive than that.
Yeah.
And then see how many options pop up.
Well, here's a nice place. It's actually. Oh dear. Okay, it's being foreclosed on, but can't beat that price.
Anyway, so just comparing different cities, they're all fucked.
They're-
Everywhere is fucked.
Well, hopefully the
Um,
market will crash soon.
I mean, it's
It
about
kind of
to.
feels like that's inevitable. Like
It is
everyone-
going down. Like as I've been looking over the past year, it has been going down.
Like-
but it's still fucked. Like
And it's I don't
Yeah.
and you say cities, but it's kind of fucked everywhere too. Like even in the, like before I came to Chicago, I was thinking about staying in Cluton Lake Jackson, and just moving out of my mom's place and getting a place there. But because it is a kind of small town/city, depending on which one you're in, but everyone who lives there works at Dow Chemical, so they get Dow Chemical pay.
Right.
So but they expect everyone to live there is a family. There is no there's like very little single person apartments.
Yeah.
And even then they are not priced that different from the city.
That's ridiculous.
So there are places where it's like you are not in the city. You still can't afford to live here.
Yeah, and I know like everyone knows this, but a big part of this that really fucking pisses me off is people attempting to turn homes into, wealth instruments,
Blech.
And it's the idea that hey everybody, anyone could be a house flipper, just buy a distressed property that would have been an ideal starter single family home for a young family. Just buy a distressed property for $150,000, and instead of letting the people who needed it live there and raise their children there and make memories there, like fucking put in an infinity pool that's too big for the backyard and some fake marble countertops and forget the fucking stove hood entirely and up the price by
My
$300,000.
favorite thing is how most house flippers do not make any money.
Good.
No, no,
Good.
no. They are idiots. They
I hope they
like
don't.
almost all of them
Yeah.
see someone on TV, not kind of forgetting that the people doing it on TV kind of technically can't fail because the network hasn't invented the network. Well, you think the network's not
Oh,
going to
yes.
bail them out? No,
Yeah.
you do
Mhm.
not have a TV network behind you. If you run out of money on this, sorry, you have a
Mm.
you have a half flipped house and no money. How's someone going to buy your house flipped house? Oh no, are you going to have to sell it for less than you bought it because you didn't
Ruined
finish
it?
it and now someone
Yeah.
else has to come in and fix it?
Yeah, I
Boo
can't.
hoo! Don't just fuck off.
Yeah, there was actually a TV show I was watching. I can't recall the name of it. That was on, like, Home and Garden or Discovery, one of those channels. And it was about people who fucked up attempting to flip a property. And, like, a established, well-known flipper came in and tried to save their property. And it was always someone who literally started the sentence with, I thought this would be way easier because I saw it on TV. It's just like, yeah, there was your first
Uh,
problem.
Spike.
It's
did
not
you
usual.
see-
Oh,
Did you see that Bones was on House Hunters?
I did not see that Bones was on House Hunters.
Yeah.
Did you hunt down a house,
Bones is
Bones?
on a newer episode of House Hunters.
yeah, I saw screen caps
I-
of that.
I found out because my mom texted me and was like, "Is your friend Bones on House Hunters?" And I was like, "I don't know, maybe." And they're like, "Did they move to this place? Do they have a white cat and a twin?" And I'm like, "Well, it must be Bones because that's like too many things in common for it to be a coincidence." Like,
Yeah, that'd be a little weird. Congratulations on the house, Bones.
Congratulations. I love that. It's like,
Yeah, I think I might be entering a whole new phase.
I like that it would just
of-
like, is their name? Squints at the screen. Bones?
Yeah, yeah. I might be entering like a whole new comparable phase, and this may be me talking completely out of turn. This might be something I don't even think about for like 2 years. But
But
I am kind of getting to this point right now where I think maybe it might be time, if things work out, it might be time for Iron Circus to stop renting because we lease our office space. It might be time for Iron Circus to stop leasing and just go find a place, and hopefully it'll be something the company can handle, mortgage wise.
see, part of my brain goes, that seems really expensive. The other part of my brain goes, Amanda wants to decorate.
Yeah, and that's a thing we do. I would absolutely fucking love to have like a mural on the
Amanda
wall.
wants. Well, I'm not. No, when I say I'm thinking about utilitarian stuff, I'm thinking about shelving
Yeah,
and like.
but I would still want a fucking mural on the wall. So fuck you.
I'll paint a butt on. I'll paint a butt on your wall. It'll be
Okay.
fine.
A big juicy butt. It has to have one of those shines on it that looks like a 4-pane window.
No, it's going.
4 perfect squares.
No, I am going to hire the local youths to spray graffiti on the wall and just
The
tell them as many
youths.
butts as you can handle, kids.
Amanda will just emerge from an alley in a trench coat. The youths.
It's like,
I
hey kid,
call them.
you want to spray paint butts on a wall? Follow me.
But
No
we're
one will
getting
be.
to that point, which we've been at this point, by the way, too. It was when we decided to buy a place to live, where we were constantly getting, every year it was the rent's going up, the rent's going up, the rent's going up. And then at one point, and keep in mind, this was like 11, 12, 13 years ago, we got a notice, it's like, hey, your rent's going up by $150 for no reason. And it's like, fuck you. And we just started like looking for a place to buy right then, because that was just like so fucking insulting at that point. Like,
that's
You're not
illegal
doing
in
anything.
Portland now.
yeah.
They're not
Chicago
allowed
has-
to raise it by a certain percentage each
Yeah.
year.
Chicago has no rent control, and that was a big motivator behind us choosing to buy. And quite frankly, we don't regret it at all, because we look at the rents around here now, and it's less than we pay, and it's more than we pay in a mortgage for the same amount. So we're perfectly happy with it. Oh, but yeah,
If they
the thing
raise
about
my
buying-
rent, there's nothing I can do about it.
basically. But I am concerned now about Iron Circus because Iron Circus is in that same situation where like every fucking year the lease is going up, and I'm just like, why? And you're not. Nothing has changed about the building. I hate this, and so I've been looking at corporate properties, and what we would want is it's called mixed use, which basically means there's an office over here, but over here there's a place where an 18-wheeler truck could back up and offload a pallet, and they're kind of in the same general space. And it's not fucking cheap.
No.
So it's definitely a couple years in the future, and we have to like kind of grit our teeth and bear the bullshit leasing terms for another couple years, which sucks. Yes, Joe, fucking rent control now. God damn it.
Please.
I fucking hate that Chicago doesn't have rent control. I fucking hate
Please.
it. It's so bullshit. Like we've got all these Democrats in office. Like, can we have some fucking rent control? Can we have some statewide health insurance? Can we have that, please? But yeah. Ugh. Kristen Cheney's going, I mean, I could maybe buy a condo, but I'd like to upgrade to a 2-bedroom at least because otherwise it feels like it's a lateral move. That is a discussion I've had with Matt a couple of times where every once in a while, just for fun, I'll go look on realtor.com just to like see which way the wind's blowing. And every once in a while I'll see a nice place. And Matt's like, oh, that's nice. And I'm like, yeah, but it's also a 2-bedroom. And I don't want to move from a 2-bedroom to a 2-bedroom. Like, it's not worth all the fucking trouble for a lateral move.
Well,
I mean, okay.
in the defense of moving from a 2-bedroom to a 2-bedroom, if it's a 2-bedroom to a 2-bedroom, but the non-bedroom spots are a lot bigger,
yeah, there's that.
That might be worth it. Like, because if it's a square, because I would think of it as a square footage thing because, like, you have your apartment now, and if you move to a different apartment that was still 2 bedrooms, but what if both of those bedrooms are bigger and the other rest of the apartment's bigger? Like, that would technically still be upgrading.
Yeah, it would be a technical upgrade, but I would like a practical upgrade. I would like a 3rd bedroom at least.
In my mind, that would be a practical upgrade because you can put more stuff.
Yeah, but a 3rd bedroom would be nice. That's kind of what I want. I want another room. And you know, we're probably not having kids at this point. It's pretty obvious. And I just want a room where it is established as the office/exercise room so I can get my fucking treadmill out of my living room and it's just off to the side and that's where all that goes and that's it. That would be great. And I'd like to, you know, the building that I move into, I have a whole bunch of wish lists for it. Like I'd like a balcony. I'd like a balcony so I can have a place to put a barbecue. That's also something I want. So those are my little dreams for the next place.
When I was thinking about what I have
now,
now,
exactly. I want another door. What you were saying, Cal.
So right now I'm in a studio apartment.
Mm-hmm.
That is 600 square feet,
Mm-hmm.
or slightly less than that. So yeah, so I was looking at 1-bedroom condos that are maybe closer to 800 square feet or 1,000 square feet.
Okay.
And prices are fucked everywhere. So
they are pretty fucked.
Yeah.
Although, every once in a while something pops up that like it's suspicious. You know what I mean? Do you have places like that in Portland? Where...
I'm not checking that often, so
yeah.
I'm mostly getting the same places over and over again where they are slightly dropping the price, but
yeah, there are places that show up sometimes in the sites I search where it's like 8-bedroom, 6-bath, $200,000, and I'm like, what happened? Who got murdered here?
I would love to get a murder apartment.
I would absolutely live in a murder apartment, 100%.
Yeah, like, who cares if someone got murdered there? This is cheap now.
Yeah, like, what happened here that you're selling an 8-bedroom place for fucking, you know, 800?
One of my favorite episodes of Mythic Quest is occasionally they do these one-shot episodes that take place in a different time period.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is about an indie video game company in the 90s. And there's like, the guy of the couple is like the money man marketing person, and the wife is creative, and she's an angsty goth girl. And the game they're making is called Dark Quiet Death. And as they're expanding, they go to look at an office, and she's like, "This is too big. We're not going to be able to afford it." And he goes, "Oh." He then says to her, "Oh, this is the best part." And he turns to the realtor and says, "Isn't this where the such and such factory fire happened?" And the realtor gets very uncomfortable, thinking that, like, oh no, I'm about to lose a sale.
Right.
And the goth girl gets so excited, she's like, 20 people died. And they're all suffocated. And she just goes on and like I heard that you could hear their screams from like 5 blocks away, like blah blah blah. And it was basically, we'll take it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I would happily live in a murder house. There was one thing that actually super offended me recently, though. It was kind of like making the rounds in Chicago news. It's like, look at this fucking travesty. Was someone remodeled a church and turned it into condos. And that's not the offensive part to me. The offensive part to me is, how the fuck do you manage to take a 100-year-old church and make it so fucking boring? Like, you are living in a church. That has got to be like, it could be like the coolest fucking thing ever. You could like the bit like where they keep the altar, and like the place where the choir stood, and like just like you could keep all that shit in and make it like the raddest fucking remodel ever, for someone to invite their friends over, be like, yeah, I live in a church, it's no big deal though, hair sweep. It could be like the coolest fucking thing. And no, you turned it into like every other bullshit flip with gray plastic wood floors and hot, light gray, almost white walls, and white fucking, goods in the bathroom, and stainless steel in the kitchen. And it's the most boring shit ever. And it's like offensive that you fucked it up that bad. You had a chance to make this really fun and you just didn't.
do you have pictures that prove that it was them that did that?
It was the people who bought it and remodeled it who did it and tried to flip it. I
Okay.
mean, no one who actually bought it and turned it into that. It was flippers who did that.
No, I mean, like, do you have proof that the flippers did that?
I mean, it was on a real estate site for sale. So
I'm just saying that a lot of churches have very boring rooms.
Oh no!
Where the service doesn't happen, like, so.
Yeah, this was not. The church. It's clear, like everything in it was brand new. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it had that flipped look to it. Like, if anyone here has ever been house shopping in the past maybe 5 years, when I say the flipped look, you should know exactly what I'm talking about. Everything's very off-white and gray, and maybe there's a pop of color on a door, and it's just really, everything looks like every once in a while you realize like all these flippers are buying from the same suppliers, and they're all buying the same remaindered shit. So all the bathrooms look kind of the same, and all the chairs look kind of the same, and all the goods in the kitchen are the same brand and look kind of the same. And it's gross.
Yeah.
Gross, and I hate it.
But I was talking about condos that I was looking at. The other thing is, like you, I would also like a balcony.
Yes.
But my reason for like wanting a balcony is, at least on the West Coast, if you have a balcony, you are allowed to put a tiny solar panel there.
Oh.
So
cool.
They make little balcony solar panels so it'd be like, oh, that would be good for like getting some electrical costs down and being better for the environment.
Yeah. way to show the world you're basic. Yeah, basically. Yeah.
If you're listening, that was not directed at Kill. Spike was reading the chat.
No, I was reading the yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Kristen was talking about way to show the world you're basic in relation to me talking about how bad they fucked up the flip of that church. But I want like, if I had a blue sky list of what I wanted the next place I live, I don't want a house. I don't want the responsibility of a house. I just don't. But
same. Fuck having a yard. That's awful.
Yard, a roof, a sewage system that you personally have to deal with. If it turns out you need new shingles or you need new gutters, it's up to you and only you. No, fuck that. Absolutely not. I don't want to do that. But also, if I like was making my list, I'd love a building that had a pool. I'd love a building where I had a balcony. And
A lot of the places I was looking at have a community gym.
yeah, a community gym would be rad. I'd love a gym in the basement. Just something that like everyone collectively the amenities pay for. And just, that'd be fucking rad.
Technically, my apartment building has a gym, like in quotes. It's really
Uh-huh.
just like 2 bike machines and 2 elliptical machines in a tiny room.
That is not a gym.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's better than nothing.
Yeah, it beats a kick in the teeth. But when I say, I would love a building with a gym, I mean, like, there's got to be a treadmill and preferably a TV above the treadmills. So if you didn't bring, headphones or anything, you can watch House Flippers or something while you're on the treadmill. That'd be nice. And I definitely would love, this is like absolute top of the list for me. I don't think I'll ever have this, but I cannot predict the future, so maybe I will one day. I would love a view of the lake so that from the living room on certain nights I can watch the fireworks over Navy Pier. That's like very high on my wish list. Like if the kind of unattainable thing. But to be perfectly frank, a month ago a lot of things felt unattainable that don't feel unattainable now. So who knows what the future fucking holds is what I'm saying. And free weights, yes. Yes, absolutely free weights. If it's going to call itself a home gym, it needs fucking free weights. Or rather, a building gym. It needs free weights. Any thoughts, Amanda?
No.
Just nothing.
This is a conversation that makes me weird.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
I just got nothing to add to it.
Yeah. We're all just talking bullshit here. Like,
I
no
know.
one here's about to move. No one here's about to
Oh,
go
I know.
anywhere. Yeah.
I've got my little studio.
Yeah.
Run by a very scammy company.
Uh-huh.
And I'm comfortable.
That is good to know. I'm glad you're happy in Chicago. You seem to be having a lot of fun around here.
I've been having such a good time. Okay, so.
Uh-huh.
I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Oh no.
Okay, for reference, I had this week alone. There's a reason, like, I've been really productive.
Yes.
And yet I've gotten very little done.
Oh,
because I had 2 separate panic attacks this week.
Oh no.
One y'all were privy to.
Uh-huh.
And another one that happened basically because I was having a very good time.
Wow. Oh no.
So yes, no, I am. Okay, so if I can get like TMI.
Yeah, go for it.
I mentioned before that I've always kind of had like anxiety, like death phobia, and like even just thinking about it makes me like cry and get upset.
Like understanding you're gonna die one day. Yeah.
More just a cessation. Yeah, I just don't like it. It really, really upsets me in a way that I cannot find comfort from. Like, people will tell me, oh, well, if you think about it like this way, it's like, I am so sorry. That does not work on me. So I had a pretty good weekend. I went to see a movie with a friend, and we like got drinks and we ate burgers and we watched the new D&D movie, and I had such a good time. I was like clapping in the theater at the scene with the fat dragon. I was like literally like giggling and clapping my hands. And then like I drove back, and like I had work to do when I got back, and I did it, and I turned it in, and then I had comic pages to work on, and I did it, and I finished them, and I tended to I just was in a very good mood. And then I kind of sat down on my bed, my little day bed, and I thought, oh no, you're gonna die someday, and then you don't get to do this anymore.
Oh, and that triggered a panic attack?
A 3 a.m. panic attack.
No.
Nobody was awake. I pinged a few different like chats, like, hey, can anyone talk? Can anyone talk? I didn't feel comfortable like texting anyone because it was 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And I like kind of like have you ever had a kind of panic attack where you're like you pace in circles and yell?
No.
Okay then. Well, it was that kind of
I haven't. No.
Okay then. Well, it was that kind of panic attack.
And Amanda, Spike doesn't have depression.
Oh no! I had so much fucking sadness and self-loathing in my 20s because I was absolutely convinced I'd never.
I'm talking clinical depression.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Specific. Spike doesn't have broken brain. So, however, I'm only saying this is because it had a good ending. Like, genuinely, you know how in RimWorld when characters have their breaks, they have catharsis and they're actually really good for a while?
Uh-huh.
I kind of had catharsis.
So you had a 12 plus 12 buff to move.
Yes, actually. And because what happened was, so I was like, I couldn't talk to anybody, and I was out, like, if people even might have seen me tweet briefly, like, is anybody awake? I'm losing my shit. I even tweeted publicly. That's how, like, I have got to talk to a human. I'm losing my mind. Like, I was like snot crying and everything, just like I you know. So I said, you know, I'm gonna go read internet articles. Like, surely there are people, like, people have comforting things to say about it. No, like, no, I don't want to hear smart people fucking tell me how to feel about it. Fuck off. So I decided, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go on Reddit, and I'm gonna look for people who are asking the exact same questions. How do I stop being? I understand. I'm at peace with death, but how do I stop being panicked about it? That's the part that I'm struggling with. And so I read a few threads and people asking, and people giving people advice, and people are like, "Oh, thank you. That makes me feel so much better." I'm like, "Well, that didn't make me feel better." So I was reading all these responses. Then finally, I got to this one thread where this person seemed way more like me at the time. And like every time someone would offer them like, "Well, if you're into stoicism and blah blah blah," and they responded, "That does nothing to help me." And then another response like, "Well, actually, you don't remember what it was like to be, what it was like to not be born. So like, it's not going to be bad to be dead." And they're like, no, you don't understand. I don't want the cessation of self. That's the thing I don't like." And then someone else responds, "Well, there could be multiple realities and blah, blah, blah." And they're like, no. So every single time someone responded to them, they, like me, were going, in my head, we're going, no, this doesn't help me. And throughout, as I was slowly reading that, I flipped sides to the sides of the people comforting them. And I was like, and I had this thought of, you're kind of being a brat. And I thought, you're being a brat because you just like being alive. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm having a tantrum just because I like life so much. I'm actually having a good time.
Yep.
And that was like a switch flipped. Like, and I realized, oh, I'm just really like this, and I don't want it to end, so I'm having a giant piss baby tantrum. And I don't know if that's the healthiest way to think about it, but like, it helped a lot. Like, I could become stoic. I could, practice a lot of the anti-materialistic shit and be less attached and more accepting. But I like all this shit. I like my indulgences. I like my sensory experiences. I like things and people and stuff. And I am, therefore, the consequence of deciding not to pursue stoicism and shit is I'm just going to have tantrums now and again.
That's totally fine. I mean, the way I kind of, when it comes down to like my mortality, is the two things I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try not just to have a long lifespan, I'm going to try and have a long health span, which is separate from lifespan. I'm going to try and stay as healthy as possible for as long as possible. And I'm going to try and go to my death with as few regrets as possible. I think it's impossible to die without regrets. I think we all regret something, big or small. But I want to lie on my deathbed knowing I did not live the entirety of human existence. I did not experience every single solitary thing there was out there to experience, but I got a lot done. And I can lie. It's like, this sounds very goofy, but you're going to have to like go with me on this one.
Wow, how dare you?
There is this bit in Forrest Gump where Forrest is talking to Jenny on her deathbed. And he is an imbecile, of course, but he is just recalling things that he'd done and places he'd been in a very innocent sort of way. And that scene has resonated with me because it's like, when I am dying, when I am on my deathbed, no matter who is there, whether I am fucking completely alone or if I'm surrounded by loved ones, I want to be sitting there recalling for myself, oh, remember that time in Paris? Remember that time in Japan? Remember that time in Hollywood? Remember that time in DC? It's like, I want to be able to say, that was a good run.
I think for me, I just want to, especially, like, again, this was my catharsis. I actually feel a lot better for having, like, the idea that like, oh no, you just really enjoy this whole fucking physical experience, don't you? Don't you,
yeah.
little fucking nerd?
Yeah, get the most out of life you can.
But
Put some up your butt. Go to Japan.
no, here's the thing. No, but my thing is like regrets kind of don't factor into it. Like I know it sounds like here's the thing. I'm not highly aspirational. I never have been.
Okay.
And like my thing is like I've only ever aimed for a comfortable life.
Right.
And where was I going with this? Brain fart.
Take your time.
But basically, like, there will come a point maybe in my life where, now I've had periods of this life when my mental health was much worse, where dying was actually a comfort. It was a very comforting thought, and and I may at some point get to there too, but until then, I just really like this whole experience. Like, and I'm not in an optimal place, and yet here I am, so happy that I'm pissed.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so happy that I'm angry that the roller coaster's gonna end, and it's not like I'm living the life. Again, I like I said, traveling is just something that's not within my grasp. I'm back to, paycheck to paycheck living because my rats ate my moving savings, but that's fine. I knew I'd be at this point anyway, and I planned for it. It's not what other people would consider ideal, and yet here I am, and I'm happy. So happy that I'm yelling at God. Like, hey, how dare you put a time limit on this? Fuck you, mister.
Yeah.
Fuck off. And that's kind of nice.
Yeah, it is nice to be happy to be alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have this kind of... Oh God, a burp is coming. Hold on.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Excuse me, pardon me, everyone. But I am kind of at this place right now in my life too, where I am now probably, hopefully not, but probably on the latter 50% of my life. And that has caused me to do inventory and be very honest about where I want to be in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, because we are all in our own way running down the clock. And
the clock isn't real.
Fair enough.
I say that fully having my own little tick in my head.
Yeah, and I'm just like, is this good? Is this trajectory good? Are we happy with the trajectory? And I'm like, yeah, I'm happy with the trajectory, which is, I know I feel lucky being able to say that in a lot of ways, where I'm happy with the trajectory. A lot of people who are 44 are not happy with the trajectory. There is a whole fucking school of rock songs about it, like there's a song called Is That All There Is? And you hear it get covered a lot because I think it's a really universal feeling where you look around and it's like, okay, is this it? And a lot of people are really not happy to sort of go, is this it? Is that all there is? Is this all it's going to be? And that's where midlife crises come from. And I understand how lucky I am on some level that my midlife crisis is, I got to learn a second language. Like, it's stupid that you're monolingual. That's fucking stupid. You're fucking stupid for being monolingual.
Your midlife theme song is more "I Did It My Way" than
my way. Yeah, I sound very much like.
See, whereas I've been in and I'm wondering if this is gonna fade, but I've been at least this week very productive, very chipper. Still kind of bummed, but going, well, you wouldn't be bummed about dying if you would just pursue stoicism. But it's like, well, I don't want to. Well, there's your problem. This is your fault, you little wiener. But, like, also going, there's a kid upstairs dropped their water gun right outside my window. And there's a point, I just stared at it going, I'm in the universe in the same place and time as this water gun. That's funny. I don't know. It just was really funny to me. I don't know.
What a strange thought.
I don't know. That's just where I was. I was like, it's just me and this water gun. What's up?
Yeah.
I need to go get that water gun and bring it inside. That kid never came back for it, so I bet they dropped it and didn't tell their mom.
Yeah, I bet they thought they were going to get in trouble.
So yeah, I think later when I take the trash out, I'm going to go get that gun and bring it inside like, hey, I got you, buddy. Yeah. I got you. I got your water gun. You don't have to tell your mom you threw it out the window.
Yeah, here you go.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Well.
God, you guys have got me all fucked up. Now I'm over on realtor.com just looking at places.
Well, get unfucked. Unfuck
can't.
yourself.
Here's the thing, I enjoy it, so I can't
Do it on your
stop.
own time.
I love it. It's so much fun.
Is it now?
Yeah, there's this look. By the way, I'm going to educate some.
Spike, I don't want to live a life of regret. I'm going to, while on a podcast, look at realtor.com.
Well, it's like there's this thing that Midwestern houses have. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's called Prairie, where it's this design. Prairie. Yeah, I think Prairie Homes is kind of like the look. Feel free to tell me if I'm wrong. I very easily
Prairie
Homes, where the interior is kind of like a muted pastel wall, and then a lot of wood highlights, a lot of wood detailing, like
Prairie
really nice
style home. Let's see.
Yeah, like wood chair rails on the wall, and really nice dark wood frames, and
I like it.
Wooden beams in the ceiling, and it just looks really nice, and it's something you see in a lot of Midwestern homes that were built, like 100 years ago or something, and I like that look. But the thing is, they are houses. And I have mentioned I don't have any interest in a place with a roof and its own boiler and all that other shit. I just don't wanna. So
I don't mind a house if I could ever be blessed. I don't want a yard.
Yeah, see, that's the fucking worst too. It's just like, because again, with yards, it comes with all these fucking invisible costs and time sinks.
If I ever did, I would like clover, some fucking grass you don't have to cut.
Exactly.
Or rocks. I'll take rocks.
Yeah, I've seen houses in like California and shit where the front yard is literally just cacti and gravel, and I'm like, that's the only thing I can tolerate.
Or just build the house all the way to the sidewalk.
Oh, that's the worst. Oh, that looks so bad.
I know. It's the most intimidating fucking thing you've ever seen. Like, you can't see down the street because one ugly house blocks the sight lines.
Yeah, it's just fucking terrible.
I want to be that house. I want to fucking ruin the neighborhood.
It's a sin against God.
That
is
is also a huge driving hazard.
Yes, no, it absolutely is.
You'll die. Yeah, absolutely. You'll die.
I mean, not necessarily me. Somebody will.
Somebody's going to die.
My bedroom will be in the back. Thank you.
It's not my problem. Yeah. Also, in Chicago, this is something that is
It'll block someone else's driveway, not my driveway.
Yeah.
There's also a thing in Chicago where this is very local, and there are these houses called bungalows, which look kind of like jumped up shotgun houses. They're usually made with like blonde brick, and I can't deal with them. I think they're the ugliest things on earth, and I think I'm the only person in Chicago who thinks that. But if you just look up Chicago bungalow, you'll see where they began life. They began life as low cost housing for working class people.
Yeah, I like them. I'm looking at them now. I like them.
Who all moved to Chicago at the same time, and so everyone's like shit, and so they built a bunch of houses like all identical up and down the road, looking Tim Burton ass, and that is kind of. Those are the Chicago bungalows. Like sometimes they're blonde brick, sometimes
there's a bunch of those near me. I like them.
I hate them. I just hate the blonde brick so much. I hate it. I just hate it. It's the worst brick color ever. I can't deal with it at all.
Matt says he doesn't think it's a Chicago thing.
Oh, really? There are bungalows elsewhere? I was not aware of that.
Yeah, it's kind of everywhere where there was a mass entrance of like
working class
people at the same time. Because they just need to build a bunch, so who cares what they look like?
And the thing is now, they're old, so, I mean, they've been around for a long time, so they're not all nearly as uniform as they used to be, which I'll admit is pretty interesting. So they all used to have, like, these very similar interior and exterior layouts, and that was kind of so they could be built really efficiently and very quickly by people like you hired yesterday. But now, since, it's been, like, 150 years of people living in them, they're getting adjusted and fucked with, and someone pops in a bay window, someone pops in a second floor, someone pops in some brick detailing, so they don't all look nearly as uniform as they used to. But I don't
You know what's fun? A fun architectural detail. Do you know about witch windows, Spike?
What are witch windows?
In New England, there are windows that are on the second floor. It's like
I just looked it up. Wow.
Yeah, they're diagonal windows because there's like a part of the house that's higher than the rest of the house.
Oh dear.
So it's basically the window is fitting in the space between lower roof and higher roof, and they're diagonal.
That looks
Um,
terrible.
The,
That-
the,
Look at
the
this
reason,
glitchy ass window.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
the reason they're there is if someone died in their sleep,
Uh-huh.
because it could be hard to get like the coffin or to move the body
Oh my
down
god.
windy stairs. So you just put them in the coffin in their bedroom and then pop the coffin out of the witch window.
And down off the roof.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I find these are terrible windows. These look awful.
I kind of love them.
No, they look like a fucking mistake. Like you're in GTA.
I know. I love
you
it.
You look at it and you're like, what the fuck? That's awful looking. Which windows are bad?
Disagree. I would find a
Oh.
way to hang diagonal curtains. That'd be great.
Oh, gross. Gross.
Love it.
I like skylights. I don't like witch windows. I like bay windows. I don't like witch windows.
Why does it have to be a competition? Leave witch windows alone.
They're awful and ugly, and they will
That's how
suffer
the witches
burden
get
of,
in.
They will suffer the burden of my judgment.
Oh, apparently.
But yeah, I just
You know, they need a easy to use window to fly into your house.
Oh, I forgot. One of the fun things about living in Chicago, there are multiple renowned architectural firms and architects specifically in Chicago. So if you have, for some reason, an aspiration, like one day I want to own a house built by Frank Lloyd Wright, you don't have to be a millionaire to be that person. Because every once in a while, a house designed by either Frank Lloyd Wright or Frank Lloyd Wright's architectural firm will just go on the market, and it's like not a big deal. It's not front page news because it's Chicago, so there are a bunch of those. It's not special. And you get to be like, oh yes, Frank Lloyd Wright. He designed this home, but it's no big deal.
The bungalows that you hate, Spike, are
Mhm.
those expensive now?
It depends. They're more than I'd fucking pay, I can tell you that.
Because that's a thing that I got to see a famous example of brutalist architecture,
Ew.
and got to do a tour, and learn it, get the history and whatnot of it.
Mm-hmm.
And because it was designed by a famous designer with his sociological theories, blah blah blah, there are these super tiny apartments that are now millions of dollars, even though they're basically a closet,
Ew.
because they're a famous closet.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
yeah, it was basically, I was like, I'm offended on this on every level.
Yeah, how dare you think your name can justify putting me in a broom closet?
I mean, were people living in
Yeah.
them?
Yeah.
If you
Okay,
could call
then
it
it could
living.
People
I'm just
were paying millions
somebody-
of dollars to live in this famous apartment.
Someone can justify it, I guess.
But yeah, I looked it up, Kel, and I just looked at specifically Chicago bungalows for sale, and the prices I am seeing, they range from $150 to $535. So they kind of run the
Okay,
gamut.
so that's not outrageous.
No, it's not. It's not at all.
That's what I
Spike
would
doesn't
expect for
drive. Someone asked if you have any stories about dibs.
Dibs.
I think they're talking about dibs.
Yeah, I think this is kind of like about parking
Yeah.
spaces. I have not driven since I was 19, and I moved to Chicago at 21.
Yeah.
I have never had. That's another bonus about this city, by the way.
I got
It's so
educated
important.
about dibs, but luckily it's yet to be a conflict.
Yeah. So what? Do you just put the chair in the spot, or?
I don't do it. No. I don't do anything because I'm not going to get. No. The way I got educated about dibs is don't do it. That was my education. Okay, so when they're talking about dibs, when it snows, people will plow out for their car, and some
Yes.
people want to preserve that spot when they get back from where they're going, so they'll put something there to save that spot. But again, it's the street. You don't
Yeah.
own that spot.
Yes.
And so there are lots of arguments over, okay, so for dibs, do you respect that or do you not? And I
Oh, you
just don't
better respect
engage.
it.
Oh, that's no.
Yeah.
I don't think you should. No. Here's the thing. I would never, if I wasn't worried about someone keying my car, I would not
Yeah.
respect it.
Yeah.
Because just because you snow plowed out, that doesn't mean you own the street.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
get to like claim a spot. Like if I'm coming home and like with my kids and I like see a spot and like I say that like I have kids, but and like groceries to carry and that's the closest spot to my door. No, I'm not going to
Yeah.
respect your dibs. The only reason I would respect dibs is because I'm afraid of my car getting keyed.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, for folks who aren't aware, it's like sometimes Chicago can absolutely beat your ass with its snowfall. So, overnight you're getting like a foot, half a foot, something like that. And when someone has a spot that does not have snow in it and is therefore easy to park in, and if they have done the work to shovel that spot out and they come back and your car is in that spot and you didn't shovel that spot out, you just took it, that is a rad way to wake up to half a fucking car the next day.
It's just, it's so stupid. Like, I get that you put in the work to
Yeah.
shovel it, but you don't own the fucking street.
No, you don't. But some people people say, it's about common fucking courtesy in a lot of ways. It's like,
Yeah, and common courtesy is like not flipping your shit because someone carrying 5 bags of groceries decided to park there because it's closest.
Yeah, this is why there's a lot of like talk about this, because there's an argument for both sides. I get it. I absolutely get it from both sides. And again, it's like I have no dog in this fight.
Now, if this is
I
a
do not own
recurring
a car.
thing,
Yeah.
if someone's clearly always waiting for you to do your shoveling and then takes your spot, that's another thing. But like,
Yeah.
shit happens. No one knows you're coming back.
Yeah, that is true.
Nobody knows you're coming back.
Yeah.
You
It
could be
was,
gone for the fucking weekend. I'm not going to respect your spot just because I'm not psychic.
Yeah, Chicago parking is an interesting thing. I don't think this is like specific to Chicago, but
Yeah,
there,
Boston does it too.
yeah, but there is a like when you buy a place in Chicago, for example, when we were buying a place here, we were asked by the realtors we would talk to. It's like, okay, so are you interested in getting a condo, or would you also want a parking space? Because those were sold separately in some cases. Like if you lived in a building and you had a condo, that was good. But if you were selling a condo and a parking space in the basement, holy fuck. Like people were literally asking for $50,000 more for a parking space that came with the condo. And if you didn't want it, okay, that's fine. They would sell it separately to someone else. And that parking space and that condo would just be like decoupled forever. And I get it, but Chicago is not a car you need a city in. You just don't. It's not required.
Not a city you need a car in. Not a
yeah,
a car
not-
you need a city in.
Sorry, not a city you need a car in. It's just
Having
simply
you
need-
say that, but having said that, I've been socializing a lot, and I have been the designated driver, and almost every event we've arranged has been like, oh, thank God Amanda has a car.
Yeah, it does make things easier. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but I've gotten by 20 plus years without ever even thinking for a second, oh God, I should just get home. It's just not been.
Yeah,
a
but
thing.
I'm like broken. I can't do deliveries and shit.
Yeah, well, for the most part, we don't do deliveries either, but I'm talking about like if my dog needs to go to the vet, if I need to go to the dentist, if I need to go to the optometrist, if I need to go to one of like literally 4 grocery stores. It's one of 3 7-Elevens, one of 5 restaurants. It's just not a concern. Not in my neighborhood, granted, but
Yeah, it's very situational.
extremely situational.
I benefited greatly from bringing my car with me.
Yeah, and there are places you can get to where it's a huge pain in the ass for me to get to, like Mitsuwa.
Well, that's just because it's an hour away.
Yeah,
But even that's like okay, this is a day trip.
Yeah, Mitsuwa is quite a trip, and there is.
So you should put time aside so we can.
Yeah,
go.
I should. Although it's less pressing these days to figure out how to get to Mitsuwa now that there's an H Mart walking distance from where I live, which is like,
It doesn't have everything, and you need to
It
go
doesn't.
with me and get lunch.
And there's also Park to Shop, which is right behind the Iron Circus offices, which has a terrible name, but it's a great place.
Oh yeah, almost everything. If I get there early, if I get to the warehouse early enough, I go in there and I get snacks.
Yeah, Park to Shop has a terrible name, everyone, but it's basically an Asian grocery that's really, really large. And you can, when I say Asian grocery, I mean like real Asian grocery. Like you need pig blood, they can hook you up. You need dried scallop, they can hook you up. It's real.
They were
And
out of the pre-cooked pork belly.
oh,
Wee, I cry openly.
But
But they had king oyster mushrooms. So I've got a giant ass bag in my fridge waiting for me to do the dishes so I can cook.
Oh, that does sound good. Yeah, I love Park to Shop. I love having an office that's kind of just on the edge of Chinatown in general. So
Yeah, it makes going to the office like always a temptation. Like I could so easily stop in Chinatown. It would be so easy.
exactly,
It'd be so
exactly.
easy. It'd be so easy.
It's so fucking cool, which is why I'm kind of two minds about should we just look for a place and just buy it? Because if we get to the point like a year, 2 years from now, where the rent continues to be offensive and outrageous, I will get to the point I got to with where I live now, where I'm like, no, this is bullshit. I'm not gonna put up with this. I'm just gonna buy a place. I have the savings, I have the financial track record. I'm just gonna buy a place.
I've been looking at our viewership drop and I've been laughing.
Yeah. Well, we can close it off here.
No, I just think it's funny.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, we're not entertaining tonight, folks. Too many uncomfortable silences. I blame y'all.
Hey,
Yeah, I do.
you're the one who keeps talking about travel and home ownership.
I'm sorry.
You
I'm
keep locking me
sorry.
out of the conversation.
I can't not be 10 years older than you people.
Yes. Spats. I tried to talk about Princess Tutu, and I got
And if
I got
and if I could-
steamrolled.
I don't know what Princess Tutu even is.
It's an anime.
Oh, figures. You
It's
fucking,
about a duck.
Yeah.
fucking nerds. Just piles of nerds.
It's about a
surrounding me.
duck who turns into a girl who turns into a magical girl.
Wow. I'm so sorry I haven't heard about this.
It's very good. How dare you?
I'm-
There's an
I'm
aardvark
sure-
who's a ballerina.
I'm sure it's fucking wonderful.
There's a cat who's a ballet instructor.
I'm sure it's incredible.
It's fine.
I've been watching a playthrough of a video game called Dredge. That is my deal.
I've been watching ReZero and I should stop.
I do not know what ReZero is. What is that?
It is an isekai that is a thinly veiled excuse to torture women. It is the main character. His special isekai power is when he dies, the story restarts. So he can see all his big titty anime lady girlfriends get murdered over and over again.
Ew.
Until he gets the story done correctly.
Great. This sounds
That's why I
fucking
was like, I
horrible.
Stop.
Yeah, I try and watch anime and read manga that doesn't like openly hate women. I try and spend my dollars wisely.
How frequently do you succeed?
More often than you think. The closest I think I come is to that one woman who super hates herself, and I buy her stuff. That's the closest I think I come.
Yeah, no, that the cat teacher in Princess Tutu he's a trip.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to the chat because they was like, it's worth it for Nico Sensei, and it's like, yeah. I kind of forgot. I thought he was from a different anime, and when I got to him, I was like, oh, him. Oh no, because he's just terrifying. He basically threatens all the students. Here's the thing about Princess Tutu. I won't talk about it too much because y'all won't know what I'm talking about. It operates on fairy tale logic. It is basic, and which is kind of part the theme, because it's about about fairy tales, If I want to compare it to like something modern that I think y'all have seen, like maybe Bee and Puppy Cat,
Okay.
where it kind of operates on fairy tale logic, and except it's about a duck who turns into a girl who turns into a magical girl. So there are things that you just don't question. There is an aardvark girl who is one of the students. There's a little alligator girl who is one of the students. There is a bipedal cat who teaches the ballet lessons and threatens all the students that if they fail, they have to marry him, and that's their punishment.
Ew.
Yeah, he's creepy, and he's treated creepy. He is creepy. They know he's creepy.
Makes me think about the teacher in Azumanga Daioh, where it's like it's funny in context, but it's like, wow, it's truly horrible. This man is around all these young girls.
But yeah, and yeah, it's very magical and whimsical, and all the fights, all the conflicts are solved with ballet.
Of course.
Yes. And I kind of adore it. I liked it as a teenager, but as a secret, like, no one can know. This is so cringy. But like now,
And
it's
now
like,
that you're an adult who gives a fuck.
yeah, it's like, this is silly. I love
Yeah.
it. It's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember, like, fuck, I am old. I remember when, you weren't out about, oh shit, I watched Rama 1/2 this weekend. I watched fucking Bubblegum Crisis this weekend. I watched Dominion Tank Police this weekend.
Oh, the things that it was less about, oh, it's anime or oh, it's a cartoon. It was more
Yeah.
the sincerity, the whimsy, the silliness. It was very,
Yeah.
no one can know I like something that's for babies, but it's not really for babies. It was just, I was an insecure teenager.
Yeah. This actually makes me think about, I've been watching the Game Grumps playthrough of all fucking things, a Peppa Pig game recently. Who is literally, I mean, if you don't know, because you don't have toddlers in your house.
I mean, I know, and I don't have
Yeah.
toddlers.
But Peppa Pig is just this very simple British cartoon, clearly meant for preschoolers, with just a very crudely drawn little girl pig and her pig family. And they go on little adventures suitable for a 4-year-old to follow. It's extremely basic shit. And while they were playing it, they were just like, I'm really enjoying this because it's easy on the soul. And like, I absolutely get that. Like, in a world full of really complex puzzle games and Call of fucking Duty and the insane pressure behind, gated content and season passes and rotating shops with limited false scarcity items that you need because everything is fucking pay to win now and just shit like that. It's like, it's nice to just play the Peppa Pig game where the little pink pig girl's like, let's go to Paris.
Stop it.
It's
Stop it in my ear. I know. Well, I wouldn't say Princess Tutu is like that. Like, it's
not easy on the soul.
No. It's whimsical and silly, but it is like sad.
Yeah.
It's running on fairy tale logic,
Yeah.
but remember, fairy tales used to be brutal.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, it's whimsical, and some of the stuff is like, why is there like an anteater girl? Like, because there is. Get over it. Okay.
Yeah, don't think about it too hard.
But it's also like, oh, this is tragic.
Yeah.
It's really just the sincerity and the dedication to some really like girly and frilly shit.
Mm-hmm.
This is completely tangential, but I saw an interview with this Spike talking about Peppa Pig made me think of this. I saw an interview with the guy who played Steve on Blue's Clues. And he talked about how he got hired. And he was like, so the people who created Blue's Clues really liked me, but the network wanted a guy who was more conventionally attractive. So they filmed an episode with me and an episode with the attractive guy. And when the attractive guy was like, hey, which one's the triangle? The kids would be like, that one. And they liked him fine. But when I was like, oh my god, you guys, I don't know. Which one's the triangle? Can you help me? The kids would flip out and were like, this man needs us. And that's why he got the job.
Yeah.
That sounds like children.
Yeah, I've heard stuff like that's behind why, when you watch Dora the Explorer, she's like, oh my goodness, where's the monkey? And the kids are screaming and just going, yes, the monkey's there behind the tree.
They genuinely think they're helping.
Yeah.
It's cute.
Oh my god, I remember years and years ago, okay, Chicago has something called the Chicago Book Fair every year, and they have authors down. And there was this one time, there was a children's book author down. It was when his book had been out for like a year. He was a fucking runaway smash hit. Everybody loved this book. And this book was called Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus. And this book, I'm just kind of blown away by its simplicity and how kids responded to it. Because it's a book that starts out with a bus driver on the first page. It's basically like, hey, I got to go do a thing. Look, there's this pigeon around here, and he's going to really want to drive my bus. don't let the pigeon drive the bus. I'll be back in a second. And the bus driver leaves. And the next thing you know, there's like a blank page. And then you turn the page and a pigeon sticks its head in. It goes, is he gone? Whew, I thought he'd never leave. And then the pigeon walks up and goes, hey, you think I could drive the bus? And the rest of the book is like just pages of the pigeon going, if you were my friend, you'd let me drive the bus. Oh, come on. Are you going to listen to him? Let me drive the bus. And the kid is supposed to respond. The way the audience responded, I remember I was maybe 3 seats away from this little girl on her mother's lap who was so like vibratory. It's like she was doing interpretive dance on her mother's lap, just screaming back at this man in this like insane, joyful shriek. I see why this book is such a hit, because like this one kid in the audience, and it's obvious like the author was doing the live reading while this is happening, and it's clear from his demeanor he was very used to that kind of response.
But like, I just like the Steve from Blue's Clues story is he conveyed a helplessness to those children that they were like, protect this man.
Yeah. Alan Lord, I'm glad to hear your son loves that book. That book seemed to go over real big. That was really big for Mo. That's the author, by the way, everyone. Mo Willems. But yeah, that was just hearing kids love that call and response shit. Yeah, I have seen that demonstrated.
But yeah, I was just saying the comparison, because the call and response, like the conventionally attractive guy was also doing the call and response thing. But he seemed competent.
Yeah, you gotta make kids care.
Yeah, he seemed like he could figure out which was the triangle without the children's involvement.
The children of the world simultaneously all adopted Steve.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, this man is nothing without us. We have to help him.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. God, just Googling "Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus." There are so many. Like, he did so many live readings. Apparently, there's like a Christmas version called "Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Sleigh."
I think with that one, it really helps that children love arguing and being like, and love to be like, no, I'm the one who makes the choices. I'm the boss now. So being like, fuck you, pigeon.
And then there's a fucking play. Oh my god, like. That's kind of been all right, this is just me. I'm kind of fascinated by this kind of thing, because I have to look at everything from a fucking horrible, like, fucking capitalist perspective if I want to not die in a gutter one day. And one of the things I've been noticing, and this is arising from what I've previously talked about, how a lot of Hollywood is extremely risk averse and they don't want to do anything unless it's proven to be a big deal. The comic to stage play pipeline was not there a few years ago, but it is very there now. And the only reason it's very there now, everybody together, Fun Home. That's literally the only reason.
You said everyone together like I would know.
Oh, I thought you would.
No.
Oh, Amanda doesn't know about other comics and also doesn't know about musical theater. I am the target audience for who knows the answer to that, Spike.
Oh, okay. So you knew it was going to be Fun Home.
Yes.
I mean, I knew that was a comic. I just didn't...
Yeah. For everyone who doesn't know, there is a very respected...
Here's a fun fact for you, Amanda.
Yes.
You're aware of the Shrek musical, correct?
Unfortunately.
Ugh.
The Shrek musical's music was written by the person who wrote the music for Fun Home.
Okay. Here's the thing. I've never actually seen it.
Well, here's the fun.
My experience was dodging it from someone who seemed hell-bent on me watching it.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Yes.
But the fun thing is so, because musical theater, you don't hear about bad musicals because no one sees them for the most part. And so if a musical flops or doesn't do that great, or has a very different target audience than your past musical, no one's gonna notice if you reuse the same melody.
Oh no! Oh no!
So there are songs and there are bits of song melody in the Shrek musical that are also used in the Fun Home musical.
Oh my gosh!
Womp womp.
It's like my brain was like, "Oh, auto-filled. I know where this is going. Excellent."
Yeah, for folks who don't know, Fun Home is an Alison Bechdel graphic novel, which is kind of it's one of those things where she had one of those thoughts that just kind of like T-boned her at 6 o'clock on a Thursday morning one day, where she was like, "Oh my God, my dad was gay." She didn't know, but it's a thing that she realized kind of later in life, because her dad died in, air quotes, an accident, but she is extremely skeptical that it was actually an accident in adulthood. And she, over the course of the book, kind of, it's not direct, but she kind of makes her argument why she believes what she believes. And she talks, it's called Fun Home because she grew up in a house that was, number one, it was like in a constant state of restoration. Her parents bought this kind of fucked up shitty house, and it was beautiful once upon a time. It's not now, but they are doing all the work to make it beautiful again. And I believe it used to be a funeral home, and that is why it's called Fun Home.
Yeah.
And just, she had a very, very fraught relationship with her dad. And her dad knew she was gay, like early on. He knew she was gay. And she kind of like has to reflect on that, when it's like, now that she thinks he was gay, like what he was going through his mind all the time, because he's not the kind of guy who would sit there and share his feelings with the household, like, obviously. And it's just a very interesting, thoughtful graphic novel, and it got turned into a stage play that was kind of like doing not great for a while. And then I think it won something like just a grip of Tonys. It won a bunch of Tonys, and everybody kind of sat up and took notice, and now it's just a big hit. And because of that, suddenly there's this comics to stage play pipeline, and it's interesting to see that just sort of spring up like mushrooms after the rain. Oh, no, her dad's family actually ran a funeral home, Kristen Cheney says. Okay, thank you. It's been a while since I read Fun Home. It's on a shelf, but yeah, it's been a while since I read it.
But no one's gonna see the Spider-Man musical.
Oh, is that Turn Off the Night or something?
Yeah, Turn Off the Dark.
Wait, no one's gonna what?
There's this.
No
Amanda,
one's gonna see
so
the
bad.
Spider-Man musical.
No, I know about it, but
yeah, it's so bad. It's so fucking bad. It's like,
no, Spike. This is the thing. It's not that it was bad. It was that too many people died making it, so they had to stop.
Kel, it was fucking unrecognizable. Like, it involved Arachne, the spider goddess.
yeah, no,
insane.
we know, we are aware. It's more. I don't think it being. Although that it was, I don't not a factor I think that mattered. It was just a production disaster, and
it was.
Yeah, the amount of dying is more what closed it.
That, and there were some behind the scene costs that I don't think they will ever recoup.
Oh yeah, one of the things you kind of just have to assume when you see what people state publicly things cost is it costs twice that.
Yeah, like I think it could have survived being as weird as it was, and as not Spider-Man as it was.
It being weird does not necessarily mean it would flop.
Oh yeah, weird is no. Starlight Express did. You okay? Shit.
Yeah.
Where was the concern when I was choking?
Starlight Express did just fine, and that's as weird as it fucking gets.
Yeah.
Do they even have Starlight Express anymore?
How would I know? Go Google it, Spike.
I'm gonna go Google it.
I mean, people have seen it, and there's talk of revivals, but it is not currently running, if that's what you're asking.
For folks who do not know, Starlight Express is like, it's a play where everyone's like a fucking train.
It's
something.
Thomas the Tank
yeah,
fan
and they're
fiction.
all on roller skates.
Yeah, and the whole like stage set is designed around them choo-choo around in their like glittery tutus and rollerblades, just and like a bunch of the people in the production like fucking busted their knees and their hips and their tailbones because of you have to be skating around real fast
because they're all on roller skates.
Yeah, and it's it's so fucking bizarre.
In the chat, Motley points out another reason it costs so fucking much is it was over the top, and they had lots of wire work, and apparently 15 Spider-Man stunt doubles for each showing.
Oh fuck! Oh,
yeah, no, like also some of the stunt people are the people who got injured and died.
Yeah.
Well, wait, did they actually die? I thought they just got injured.
Yes, there was. Well, a lot of them got injured, but there was a couple of deaths.
Okay, I knew about the many stuntman injuries.
But yeah, I need to
Yeah.
find the fucking plot.
I think at least one of the Wire accents people thought it was part of the show, so it didn't get corrected for a while.
Yeah, so Starlight Express is Toy Story, by the way. A young boy falls asleep and his toy trains come to life.
It's Thomas the Tank fan fiction.
Thomas the Tank, and the reigning champion train is called Greaseball.
I just want to go on record and say I don't like Andrew Lloyd Webber's musicals.
That is totally okay.
I
This is a
have
safe
no
space.
preference because I have not experienced enough to know these things.
They're a little
Though,
much
Kel,
for me.
if you ever want to expose me to them, go for it. I would like to.
Phantom of the Opera is one. That's the one that if people like one of his musicals, they usually like Phantom of the Opera.
Haven't seen that one.
Or they like Cats.
Yeah, the one that I know about are Cats. Everyone knows about Cats. Starlight Express because it's fucking hilarious conceptually, and there was also Jesus Christ Superstar. And those are the ones that
he also did Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Yeah.
And
I'm looking it up now. He did Evita too.
Yeah.
Don't cry for me.
Musicals?
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I don't like his musicals is they are frequently music first, plot second.
Oh, God, yes. God, yes.
Yeah.
Musicals are something that on paper, I think, like, the few ones I see, I seem to really like, and it's like, I want to see more of them, and it's like, because it seems like something I would really like. And it's like, I got to figure out where I'm going to start.
Yeah, musical theater is one of those things where I think a lot of people, and this used to be me too, by the way, a lot of people are under the mistaken impression of what like musical theater is conceptually, and a lot of people are going to automatically think, oh, it's, you know, it's Broadway, it's $300 tickets, it's, you know, shit that runs for 85 years like The Lion King. It's like, no, that's Broadway. Broadway is musical theater, but not all musical theater is Broadway. And if you like musical theater, there are tons of shows that you can go see that are off Broadway and hilariously off Broadway. So there's a lot to see and do, and I can see how people get completely immersed.
A lot of popular off Broadway shows end up on Broadway anyway.
Yeah,
so,
if they're lucky. Like Hamilton, for example.
That's what I refuse to see.
I liked it.
No, thank you. I'm just not interested in the subject matter.
I absolutely get it. It took me a long time to want to watch it too, because I'm like, why the fuck would I watch that? And the reason I ended up watching Hamilton is I decided, you know, it's probably educational. I'll probably learn something. And I don't know shit about Alexander Hamilton, so okay. And now I know about Alexander Hamilton.
I mean, not really.
What I think is really, what I think is
not. I mean, not based on that musical.
Molly was talking. Molly Muldoon, friend of the show, was talking to a friend who lives in England right when Hamilton came out.
Right.
And was asking, well, how much does the average American know about Alexander Hamilton? Like, am I going to be lost because I don't know American history?
Nothing.
And Molly said, the average American does not know that much about Alexander Hamilton. If they know anything about him, they know how he died. And the friend was like, shush, spoilers. Like,
yeah, the average American probably would like pause for a second and be like, is he on the $10 bill? And like, that's as far as it would go.
Yeah. Like, so it's like, and if they knew anything more than that, it would be how he died.
Yeah. And actually, like Amanda, I gotta push back. It was very educational. It actually told you about, you know, why Lin-Manuel Miranda actually identifies with him is an interesting thing. Like why?
Oh, I thought you meant historically.
No, historically too, because it talks about he was born, you know, literally the son of a sex worker, born in extreme disrepute, and kind of has this American dream quality about him because he was a very smart kid who was orphaned at a young age, but through hard work and graft, like on the island where he lived, they took up a collection to send him to America so he could get a better job and a better education than he could get on this little island. And while he was there, he kind of fell in with the revolutionaries. It wasn't intentional. It just kind of happened. And then he established the first national bank of the United States and instated the sort of monetary system and the debt system that we still live with the ripples from. Like part of the reason America became what it is is his planning of the financial system that we still function with.
Um,
Also, he's not
but
president because he's a fucking slut.
he also was a big mouth. I
All
feel
proven.
like
Yeah,
being a
yeah.
big mouth was a bigger detriment to his political career than being a
Being
slut.
being a huge slut, yeah.
Because I believe Ben Franklin was also a huge slut.
I mean,
but
also most of that stuff was like super exaggerated.
Well, no, the thing is though, what I said is literally true. Like what I said is he is literally the son of a whore. He is literally
No, that's
yeah.
fair, but there's a lot of embellishments that were sprinkled in there.
yeah,
Like
he was
what?
not as big a slut as portrayed in the play. They played that up for drama.
Well, he still cheated on his wife.
Yes.
He did still cheat on his wife. He just didn't fuck as many women.
Lin-Manuel Miranda is a nepo baby, though, says Abby Lark. Do tell. I didn't know that.
His dad is a philanthropist and a psychologist. So yeah, he comes from money.
You want to know who I think of when someone says Broadway nepo baby?
Yes, we already talked about this.
Yes,
last
we
week.
talked literally last week.
Who?
We talked about Evan Hansen last week.
Okay, just checking. But honestly, you know who else?
No, I do.
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
I'll take your word on that. I don't know shit.
Yeah, it's just it's one of those things where a lot of people, when you scratch the surface, they have family, they have family in the businesses they end up in. And that's sort of natural, all the way from like, son, one day this plumbing business will be yours, all the way up to we'll get you elected senator when you turn 35.
See,
it's
my recurring thing is someone goes, "Oh, did you know so-and-so's a nepo baby?" And I quietly go, "Who is so-and-so?" I don't know who you're talking about. Yeah, I don't even know the celebrity or whoever's being spoken about. And it's like, how the fuck am I supposed to know they're a nepo baby? I don't even know who they are.
Yeah, all of Andrew Lloyd Webber's family, like his father, his mother, his brother, they're all like orchestral people, musical theater people. So it's not a huge surprise he ended up the way he did.
Yeah. Spike, have you seen the sequel to Phantom of the Opera?
I have not even seen Phantom of the Opera. I've only seen it through like reviews by bread tubers.
Okay,
that's all I need.
So
same.
I have seen Love Never Dies. That might be the one Andrew Lloyd Webber musical I like. Mostly because you watch it and you're like, oh, someone didn't take his divorce well.
Oh no! How so?
Meta knowledge is the original actress who played Christine in Phantom of the Opera married Andrew Lloyd Webber. And then the sequel to Phantom of the Opera is the Phantom is now a huge success and everyone likes him, and Christine is a fucking idiot for not picking the Phantom, and the guy she's with now is a fuck up and a drunk, and she really fucked up by not screwing the Phantom.
Obviously. How dare she? How dare she say no?
Well, I thought she did.
I don't
she did, but she didn't end up with him.
Okay.
She didn't end up with him, so
yeah.
She's a fool for picking Raoul over the deformed man who
And again, I only
her.
know this from watching. I only know it from the Lindsay Ellis video because I don't know shit.
Oh,
but
God.
Isn't it also like not just that her husband's like a fuck up, but also like they're like broke and they're like kind of crawling over for this opportunity?
Yeah, no, he's a drunk and he's a gambling addict. He has spent all their money on gambling.
So she's like basically crawling back, like, oh, life is so hard.
He's
oh my
worse than
god!
awful.
Oh my
He's
god! I just
terrible.
realized this is a musical. Have you seen those stupid, like, memes that like incels and shit make about like the girl who like in high school and they're like the girl with the hot boyfriend and then in the first frame and then in the first frame it's like, why doesn't she like nice guys, and she's like leaving with the football player, and then frame 2 is that nerd is now grown up and rich and the girl's like knocked up with kids in her arms going, he left me, I should never have left you. It's like, never, no, I don't need you, woman. It's a musical version of that.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it makes me think of God, what is that fucking thing called? Yeah, Divine Comedy by Dante. which is like if you've read it or even just like skimmed it, it's the most embarrassing shit ever. It's like it would get half a star on fanfic archives because it's literally just so yeah, I went to I died and I went to hell. I was magically transported there. And all the people who I deeply respect and think are really fucking cool, like ancient philosophers and stuff, they'd all heard of me and they think I'm super cool and they asked to be my best friend and we hung out like
Uh,
forever. And like
uh,
this is the book.
I love Sophie from Mars did a video about um the the game I forget the name of it, but it's you're a delivery person in a post-apocalyptic cyberpunk world. But they use um uh the Divine Comedy as like as a framing device to compare the plot of the game to the Divine Comedy, and they describe um the main character as the type of guy who just got burnt and the retweets and thinks more posting will solve this problem. He's definitely not owned, and if you just like posted more, he could convince everyone he's right.
And he slowly turns into a corn cob.
Yeah. Like think how you would react to someone going, "Hey, by the way, I wrote a book where you're in it and you're in hell." Just like, "Are you 5?" Like but because Dante gets this fucking pass because it was hundreds and hundreds of years ago. That's like the level we're working at. It's like all the people I hate are in hell and all the ancient cool people everyone loves, they think I am cool also. It's hilarious.
I mean, I am. Look, look. Most my comics have subplots about how, like, about shitty parents. Look,
he also wrote it when he was exiled for political reasons.
Yeah.
And a running theme in the Divine Comedy is politics are stupid, and I didn't like them anyway. And
yeah. I mean, it's once you actually sit down and like look at the Divine Comedy, you're just like, oh wow, this is actually pretty embarrassing.
All right, y'all, we are at the 2-hour mark.
Oh, that we are. We are going to go ahead and cut it here, I think.
Before we go out, Spike.
Yes.
A musical you should try to find a bootleg of is Assassins.
Oh yeah, you've recommended this to me before.
This is my favorite musical.
I have heard. It is all about assassins.
It's about killing the president.
Yeah.
And how the American dream is a lie and causes brain rot.
It does. But yeah, I will actually try and look for it, as there are many places I go these days to acquire media.
Yeah.
Acquire.
I much prefer Stephen
Sondheim's
musicals to Andrew Lloyd Webber's.
Yeah, I think Andrew Lloyd Webber's, he's just a bit much for me. I think Starlight Express is hilarious in its success and bizarreness, but that's kind of it.
I know a guy I get my musical recordings from. He works at Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, I meet him in an alley behind the Kmart, and he just hands me VHS cassette. VHS tape.
The key is to Google slime tutorials.
Oh, I know.
But yeah, okay, everybody.
I think it's funnier to get your bootleg musicals from a guy behind the Dunkin' Donuts. So.
Yeah. Everybody, hi, I'm Spike. Thank you so much for listening. You can find Iron Circus Comics. It's my brand new baby boy at ironcircus.com. I also recently was part of the release of Iron Circus Animation's very first animated project called Lackadaisy, based on the Eisner-nominated comic by Tracy Butler. If you just search YouTube on Lackadaisy, you just search Lackadaisy on YouTube, I guarantee you'll run into it. We have 2 crowdfunds we are prepping to launch. One is for Wine Ghost by Sage Coffee. And the second one is a massive reprint and plushie project for Lackadaisy. You can find them both linked on the Iron Circus Twitter, which is on Twitter at twitter.com/Iron Circus Comics, spelled COMIX, because the other way would not fit. Iron Circus is also on Facebook and Instagram. Just search Iron Circus and I'm sure you will find it. For my part, I'm Iron_Spike on Twitter, and Iron Spike, all one word, everywhere else. That includes, but is not limited to, co-host, Substack, Pillow Fort. Yeah, boo, big boo. Pillow Fort. I don't even know anymore. Fucking Spoutable, Hive Social, all those places. Iron Spike, all one word in those places, but Iron underscore
Some of
Spike.
it's just name squatting.
Yeah, it's just some of it's just squatting. So please like and subscribe to Iron Circus Comics. This Sunday, I will be playing Vintage Story with my husband, which is like a very mean version of Minecraft. Please drop in. It's fun.
Brief aside before I do my outro. I just was on Andrew Lloyd Webber's Wikipedia, and it has his reaction to the Cats movie. Seeing the film caused him to get a dog.
That's mean.
That's
Anyway.
especially when you're considering how uncat-like those cats were.
Yes.
I am Kel McDonald. I make comics you can read at kelmcdonald.com. I stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at twitch.tv/kelmcdonald. You should follow me on there. I've been drawing this whole time. I'm on a bunch of social medias. There's too many. They're all linked on my website. You follow them all there.
And as usual, AmandaLaFrene.com. My link is in the description. I have nothing to promote at this moment.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great night.
Get out. Go. Shoot.
Bye.
Or I'll tell you about another existential crisis.